Hey, this is James with All Hail Internal Combustion. As you can see, we picked up a go-kart off a friend of ours that he wanted some space in his garage, so we got the go-kart. Pretty cool. We'll have to get that running. But today, I'll be working on a 91 S10 again, because it's got some things that need to be addressed. First thing is this passenger side door. The handle's broken on the inside, so the door doesn't open from the outside, which really sucks. And the lock is completely missing. And I've also got a busted mirror on this side, so we're gonna have to pull the door panel apart and get in there and see what's going on. But what I did do is I picked up some new door handles from Dorman, so they'll probably last about 6 months. I got a set of locks from Delco. They seem to be pretty good quality. And I got a set of crappy Dorman mirrors because I'm just going to go ahead and replace both sides. That way they both look the same, and I am going to be fixing the truck up, so sometimes putting new parts on is cool. So I'm going to get you set up and get in here and grab some tools and start to take this door apart. Now we got some crappy lighting going on here because the sun's actually out today and it's trying to warm up a little bit here in Pennsylvania, and I'm all for that. But with the go-kart being in behind me, I didn't have room to pull the truck all the way in and shut the door, so we're just gonna go ahead and work with it this way. First thing to get these door panels off, you got 2 screws that go down into your armrest. I've already pulled them out. Slide your armrest back and up a little bit. Whole armrest comes out of the way. So that's that taken care of. Then we need to get the clip out of the door handle, and I am not a fan of GM door handles at all, or window cranks at all. It does help if you have this tool, and actually this came with my El Camino, so yay, can't drive the car, but I'm using one of the tools that came with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this down behind here and try and get that dumb little pin to pop out of there. And a lot of times this can be a freaking nightmare. Because sometimes you can get in there and just get it with a screwdriver, but then you usually end up really scratching the crap out of your door panels. And I'm sort of trying not to do that. And it probably looks like I'm going to have to get in here with a damn screwdriver anyway, because I can't see which way this clip is supposed to come out, or that it was even put in right to begin with. Which, the way this truck was just thrown together, kind of figuring nothing was probably really put back in right on here. But yeah, let me get a flashlight, take a look down in here and see where this clip is facing. Okay, so I figured out why I was having so much trouble getting the clip out. Because the clip was broken. Thanks to the ham-fisted goobers that threw this thing back together. But what you'll have in these things is you'll have... There's the other piece of the clip right there. But you'll have your door handle. And then you'll have this plastic sleeve that protects your interior. Usually what you need to do is get in between these two to put your tool in there and pop it out. I did get it out. Kind of sucked. But we're moving on. Another tool that is nice to have is one of these upholstery tools. You can use a screwdriver. You can use a putty knife. There's a lot of ways to do this, but this thing actually helps you to save your clips if you can find out where your clips are. And I think what I need to do is I got to pull this upper molding on the door just so I make sure I have enough room to slide the door panel up and out. So let me pop this out of the way real quick. I found one of these laying in the back seat the other day, and I'm like, what's that go to? And now I know what the other one goes to. because it's missing off that door. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to find out where our Christmas trees are back here. There's probably only maybe one of them that's actually holding the door panel on, from what I'm guessing. I do have some, two holding the entire door panel on. So what we're going to do is we're going to lift up on it, swivel it, and we got our door panel out of the way. Kind of surprised to still see the foam in here. That's usually long gone. Another place your clip tool comes in handy. Pull the big monster Christmas tree out of there. And we'll go ahead and get this one too. Yep, that broke right off. Awesome, awesome. And it looks like I need to grab a 7/16 to get this armrest bracket off, so I will be right back. Now GM actually did us a favor for once in a newer vehicle. They put two holes here. You could take a 11mm on an extension, run them straight in there, and you'll be able to pick up the nuts that hold your outside door handle on. And this door handle, technically the arm isn't broken on it. It just has a broken clip on the inside, but the spring is completely gone. And I didn't feel like pulling the door panel off, analyzing what was wrong with it. I think I paid like $12 a piece for those door handles. So I just want to replace them, and these ones have been painted and primered over and beat to crap for far too long, so I just want some new ones in there. Next thing I'm going to do is, it's kind of hard to get you guys in there to see it, but I'm going to fish the old clip off of the door handle rod, and then I'm going to play around and see if I can get my hand in there to get this new lock cylinder in and find out where the old bracket is and everything else. Hopefully it's not gone forever. Okay, so I've got my new door handle here, and as you can see, this one has spring to it. It's got a little rubber stopper in there so you don't get noise, and it came with a new plastic clip in a fun designer color. Before you feed your door handle through the door, I would suggest taking this clip out. All you have to do is pinch on it and slowly work it through the hole, especially if you have an older clip, because these can get really brittle. Take that off before you try and put the door handle through. That way you don't risk breaking that clip and having to run to the car parts store to get another one. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our new handle. I should probably clean all that up, but I'm going to be taking it apart to paint anyway. And slide your new handle in, get it to seat, and then you come back around to this side, and we're going to go into our holes again to put the clip in. And what these things do, they come with these I've always called them body nuts, but they kind of self-cut into a straight stud. They used to use these on older car emblems and stuff like that. You can still get these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed these in through my holes with my 11 and go ahead and run them in and tighten down this door handle, and then we'll set the arm up and actually see if the door wants to open and close. I do have a problem with the lock because the lock rod was in there, but I don't have the piece that goes on here that I need to connect it into my lock, so I'm going to have to take a trip to the junkyard, which means I get to ride around with no door panel, but that seems to be a theme for this truck. What can go missing, and what don't I have to drive the truck? So I'm going to go ahead and tighten this handle down now. And you want to be careful with these and make sure you are getting them straight onto the door handle. I'm going to have to set you guys here because I need to be able to hold some pressure on the outside of the handle. Feed that and drop it. Be back. Alright, so after dropping that nut for 35,000 times, I do have the door handle in. And there's an L slot where the studs go through that gives you some adjustment on it, because when I first put this in, I had it too far back and it was actually hanging up. So what I needed to do was push it down a little bit and forward a little bit to get the inside arm to clear against the sheet metal. But that's working good. So I know my handle works good. So if I have any problems from this point on with the door opening and closing, it could be latch related, or it could be that the rod itself is bent. So I'm going to go ahead and hook that up and come back. And before I put my pink plastic clip of doom back in there, I took a little tiny bit of white lithium grease and put it on this end here that goes through the handle, because you do have to remember that this thing is, every time you open a door, you're putting some tension against it and you can wear through, and that's usually where they'll snap off at, against this base, and then the rod will just fall down inside the door. So I'm going to go ahead and fish this in there, connect the rod, then we can test the door. I got into this thing a little farther than I originally expected. I hooked my rod up and this thing was really tight. This is the actual door lock mechanism that goes in the door. It was completely caked in grease and lithium spray and everything else from all these years of somebody having the truck. And that little pile of stuff right there is just what came out of this latch mouth here. So I know a lot of people replace things when they're restoring cars, but if you're just cleaning your stuff up and you want it to work right, this might be something you want to check, because God, I'd hate to see how bad it is on a 50 or 60 or, you know, older vehicle than that. Okay, so these are the happy little clips that GM used on a lot of its cars in the 80s, 90s, probably back into the 70s, maybe newer. But these are what holds your rods in for your door handle and for your lock button. To pull them out, this end has a little tab on it that locks into the arm that it comes off of. If you lift the tab up a little bit, you slide it out, and then that'll release the rod, and you can take the clip all the way off of it. And these are what the clips look like when they're all by themselves. There's a little tab I was talking about. And before you put these back together, they could be kind of sprung and worn out. So you just want to give a little squeeze on these, not too much, because then it'll make it a bear to put it back onto whatever arm it came off of. But give that a little squeeze, and what that does is that makes sure your rod doesn't pop off, because this one here, the rod was halfway hanging, pushed all the way through, which means all it needs is a little bit of time and it'll go the other way and pop completely off. So that way when you pinch them, they grab onto that groove inside the rod and they lock on there real nice. So I'm going to get this handle assembly hooked back up and in the door. And on these S10s in particular, it might seem like you're not going to be able to get this lock mechanism out because there's a bracket welded in the door for the window channel. What you have to do is you have to lift this thing up a little bit, and then you'll actually rotate it and it'll spin flat, and then it comes right out this hole here. Put it back in the same way, like a letter L, pivot it around the bracket, and bring it back into place. So that's where we are right now. I'm going to get my rods all hooked back up. I sprayed the inside of this down rather than using white lithium grease or anything like that. I sprayed some JB Weld super silicone lube in it. I want to see how that works, because loading locks down with white lithium grease, they pick up dirt and then you end up with clumps of crap like I just pulled out of this one. So I'd like to keep it clean for a little bit longer this time. Maybe my grandkids will be happy I did. Okay, so I got all that mess back in. My handles reconnected and screwed down with the 7mm screw. These two little plastic things here just basically hold your rods. They're like guide clips. I put a little white lithium grease in them. And now it's time to do the important thing. See if the outside handle works. And if you're doing this yourself at home, don't forget to roll your window down so you don't have to walk around the vehicle to get it to close. We've all been there. It closes. It sounds good. But does it open? Oh, look at that. Yeah, so that's it. And like I said, I'm going to have to get the piece from the junkyard to be able to put these locks together, because what's actually missing is I have the rod, I have the clip, but what I don't have is the little arm that comes off of these locks with a clip attached to them. I'm going to need one for each side. Basically what it is it's a little flat piece of metal with a hole out here, and then there's a clip that fastens it onto the end of the shaft. And this set feels pretty good. Black to match the door handles, come with new keys so I can throw the old round key away. And that pretty much wraps this one up. Like I said, I have to leave the door panel apart till I can get that piece I need. Then I can clean this thing up and button it up and put it all back together and be done with this door. And I got the same thing basically to do on the other door, just replace everything. But that's it for this one.